So let's get into it and unravel the techniques that are used to radicalise young people. Firstly, extremists offer a worldview that's easy to understand. It's a basic human need to understand the world in which we live. If we don't understand our world, that makes us anxious and paranoid. This worldview presented by extremists is often based around intolerance towards particular groups of people. This may have to do with race, religion, sexuality, gender, or disability. But where you find extremism, you will always find one group who, according to the extremists, are to blame for a given problem. Remember the good or bad, in the club or enemy of the club? Secondly, extremists are sincere. They do believe in what they say. They aren't pretending. People who are confident in their knowledge appeal to our need for order and certainty. Us humans, we don't like uncertainty. Young people like you are particularly vulnerable to those who appear sincere. Sincere people make us feel safer. They make us feel like we understand and that we are in control. Thirdly, extremists appear to follow up on their threats. They may promise to fight against the imperialist forces of the USA or Europe, or subdue women by taking away their freedom. They may promise to persecute gay people or kill or punish immigrants. But they do actually seem to deliver on their promises, even though, in the cold light of day, what they promise is unacceptable and disgusting. In truth, extremists don't deliver on all their promises, because their promises are always at somebody else's cost. But the power of delivering on promises is enticing and seductive. Maybe even more so because modern-day politicians are so often accused of not delivering on their promises. So in short, extremism gives young people a clear sense of purpose. Fourthly, extremist groups give young people a voice and a place. The murderers at the Jewish Museum in Brussels were young, just like the right-wing terrorist Anders Breivik, who murdered political rivals at a summer camp in Norway in 2011. These young people felt shut out of the political process and stripped of power. They felt that nobody respected them. Lastly, extremism seems exotic, with the promise of exciting adventure abroad that's far removed from the humdrum of everyday life. So how do people become entangled in these organisations and become radicalised to the point where they're willing to leave home, get on a plane, and murder in the name of a new ideology? It still seems like a big jump from wanting a sense of purpose and belonging. As is often the way, the answer has a lot to do with human nature and little to do with supervillains. The path to radicalisation usually starts with a crisis or a problem at home or school, with relatives or friends or somebody in the community. It may be that a young person is having an identity crisis, or feels that a friend or relative is being singled out or discriminated against in some way. This leads to feelings of outrage because of the perceived injustice, which in turn leaves the young person vulnerable to political brainwashing, or radicalisation as it's called. There is this sense that by joining the fight against one particular group, you are righting a wrong that has been done to you, your friend, your relative, or someone in your community. So how do more people within that group become radicalised? The answer is probably not what you think. People who've already been radicalised and are fighting for a terrorist organisation abroad still stay in contact with their mates, with their friends at home, via WhatsApp or another social media platform. Some of those remaining at home are seduced by these posts they read, the stories from their friends, and they simply end up jumping on a plane to hook up with their mates in search of glory and adventure in an exotic foreign land where they can make a difference. Social media has increased the audience and the reach of extremist groups. It has never been easier to spread hate speech anonymously, directly into people's homes. End-to-end encryption, while protecting those who speak out against brutal regimes, also hides those with illegitimate intentions. The most vulnerable are those who feel uncertainty in their lives or a sense of injustice. Students at school, children, people who've recently left home. Those with psychiatric problems, they are all particularly vulnerable. Social media offers terrorist organizations the opportunity to access, recruit, and brainwash the vulnerable with their propaganda, while always presenting themselves as holding the moral high ground. When you're reading posts online and deciding whether to believe them, ask yourself whether their message has echoes of them and us, good and bad, in the club or enemy of the club, and whether they're trying to justify violence, and ask yourself whether they're blaming one particular group for all life's problems. Life is rarely that simple, so don't get sucked in, and make sure that you give your friends the same good advice. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to be the first to find out about the latest videos to help you crack your computer science GCSE. Bye bye.